Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the April 27th version of CITM webinar. Right today, we are featuring an update from Avin, or Ontario's Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network. Dan Ruby is our presenter today, and he is giving an update on Avin overall, as well as the financing programs and investment programs that Avin makes available to CITM and Avin clients. Right? If you have questions, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have questions, please raise your hand, and Greta, who is moderating for us today, will read it back to Dan and I during the presentation, and we can handle it as we go. Or if you want to wait till the end, just indicate that you can wait to the end and we'll do it then. Dan has a presentation as well as a little bit of video today. And as we all are experiencing with Zoom, sometimes the internet doesn't always cooperate, so please bear with us if there's a little bit of a glitch on that. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Dan Ruby, right, and hand the floor over to him. Dan, thanks very much.
Thank you, Richard. I'd like to start off by thanking you, Richard, and your team at CITM for putting this webinar together and inviting me to speak here today. Thank you very much to you and your team. My name is Dan Ruby, as Richard said. My role in the Avin program is to work with companies to access our funding programs and mechanisms, and also our support systems that are in place. I'm the guy that will kind of the first gate to evaluate what you have and what you're doing, and then work with you to see if we can help you access some of the support systems that we've got in place. And I'm going to talk through those systems in a little bit of detail towards the latter half of the presentation here today. To start off, I thought I'd start by telling the Avin story. Really, Avin was an initiative of the province of Ontario, and the province recognizing that really we have two very, very strong positions, global positions in the world. We are the second largest automotive assembler in North America, and we are the second largest ICT cluster in North America. And so by looking at the coming smart mobility evolution, those two sectors, the convergence of those two sectors really puts Ontario in a solid position globally to compete in this space. As I said, we're a leading automotive manufacturer for over 100 years. I mentioned the second largest assembler in North America. We're the only subnational jurisdiction with 5 OEMs, including FCA, Ford, GM, Honda, and Toyota. We have a very comprehensive cluster with over 700 supply companies and more than 500 tool, die, and mold manufacturers. And we have an extensive network of post-secondary institutions. We've got world-class talent. We've got R&D centers, a large support network of innovation hubs, such as the Innovation Factory. And we've got connected and autonomous testing facilities. So really, Avin is about shaping the future. It's capturing the potential of smart mobility solutions. I'm getting a message that my internet is unstable. Hopefully you're all hearing me. Avin is enabling the province's transportation and infrastructure networks to adapt for this transformation that is happening. It's a key component of the Driving Prosperity initiative. And Avin is supported and funded by the Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, and the Ministry of Transportation.
Sorry, Dan, are you sharing the screen right now?
I am. Can you not see it?
No, we cannot.
Oh dear. Okay, let me go back. Thanks for interrupting.
No problem.
Okay, let's, I'll quickly go back over the deck so you can see what you missed. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can, Dan.
Great, thank you. Apologies for that. Okay, let me just minimize that. So that was the title slide. I mentioned the Ontario Advantage. That was the slide there. I won't go back over it. I mentioned shaping the future, and I was on to the the objectives. So the objectives of Avin are to foster the commercialization of Ontario-made solutions, showcase Ontario as a leader in the development, testing, piloting, and adoption of the latest transportation technologies. The objective to drive innovation and collaboration amongst this growing network is at the forefront of what we do, and drive the convergence of automotive and ICT technology. To leverage and retain Ontario's highly skilled talent base and support Ontario's cluster of automotive and technology. We're really capitalizing on 4 key trends in the Avin program. The autonomous trend, which is really about limited or no human intervention. The connected trend, where cars can talk to other cars and cars can talk to infrastructure. The shared trend, which is ride sharing and platforms and vehicles and rides on demand. And then the electrification trend, which is really about getting us to zero emissions and charging from renewable resources. So in each of these 4 trends, we're looking at, very specific technologies within the trends that we have supported and can support. In the autonomous vehicle space, in that trend, we're doing projects on perception, sensor data fusion, projects on localization, driver assistance systems, human-machine interface, safety, and AI-powered operating systems. In the connected vehicle space, we're doing vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-everything communications, navigation systems, infotainment systems, telematics, cloud computing and data analytics, cybersecurity. In the multimodal and integrated mobility space, we're looking at ride sharing and car sharing, parking and mobility optimization solutions, first and last mile solutions, and fleet management. And then in zero emission vehicles, we're looking at plug-in and battery EVs, hybrid EVs, hydrogen cell EVs, and advanced powertrain technologies. The scope of Avin, it's really about the movement of people and the movement of goods on public roadways and public railways. Our priority areas are enhancement to either vehicles or transportation systems or infrastructure in general. And so we're looking at mass light vehicles, cars, trucks, and vans, heavy duty vehicles such as buses, transportation infrastructure, intelligent transportation systems, and transit supportive systems and vehicles. In terms of our societal goals, really, we're looking at technologies that can either increase road safety, which is better road condition monitoring, better collection and analysis of data, or reduction of driver distraction. So increasing road safety or reducing traffic congestion. So we're looking at quality of life improvement and smaller environmental and carbon footprints. The Avin initiative is really a collection of 5 programs and a central hub. And I'll talk about each of those today. We've got regional technology development sites, such as the one that's hosting the webinar here today, CITM. We have a demonstration zone. We have a research and development partnership fund. We have a winter tech development fund, and then we have a talent development fund. The central hub is led by a team at OCI, the Ontario Centre of Innovation, and we are the driving force behind the Avin initiative. We are ensuring province-wide coordination of the activities and the resources that Avin provides, and we're leading Ontario's push into the future of this sector. We act as a focal point for all the stakeholders across the province, and we're a bridge for collaborative partnerships. We can help, and do help companies secure those partnerships. We're also a concierge for new companies entering into Ontario's ecosystem, where we can guide and help support the entry of those new companies. And we drive public education, research, and thought leadership to raise awareness about opportunities in Ontario and for its partners. Some of the ways we do that: we do webinars such as the one you're on here today. We have a platform to enable sharing and translating knowledge through a team of experts. We bring together industry experts to work towards accelerating the smart mobility technologies in Ontario. We reinforce cross-sector and cross-border partnerships and collaboration, and we build awareness and promote Ontario as a leader in the field. We also do an SME Spotlight Series. I'm going to share with you a video, one of those videos, a little bit later on. It's a social media campaign to capture the successes of the companies that have worked through the Avin programs and our participants. And it's to build awareness and highlight Ontario's growing ecosystem. We do one of these every month. We also have an ecosystem map on our website. The website is avinhub.ca. And on that map, you can uncover a rich ecosystem. Current categories are RTDS sites in the demonstration zone. You can find all of Ontario's post-secondary institutions on the map. You can find our network of accelerators, incubators, and research labs. You can find automotive OEMs and suppliers, and you can also find ICT firms. We also provide thought leadership through annual comprehensive reports and specialized reports on specific issues within the sector. And finally, we have an Ontario Smart Mobility Readiness Forum. And this forum is designed to support the challenges and needs of the adoption and readiness of CAVs and smart mobility technology. It's creating dialogue, discussing progress, evaluation of support mechanisms for municipalities and for public sector agencies, as well as infrastructure owner-operators across Ontario. So the Avin program, it provides funding to these initiatives at a macro level and at a micro level. And at a macro level, it's funding 6 regional technology development sites across the province that go from Windsor to Ottawa. And this is a network of support expertise across the province where companies can go to develop and test and prototype and validate their new technologies. And these are physical sites. They are partnered with regional innovation incubators, as well as post-secondary institutions. And it's a network of support organizations that you can leverage. Each one of these sites is designed to provide specialized equipment, hardware, software that will help you in the R&D activities of your smart mobility related innovation. As well, they are, as I mentioned, incubators and accelerators. So they also provide business and technical advisory services to your company. And you can, pre-COVID anyway, you can actually also co-locate there. You can set up shop within any one of these facilities. Each of the 6 sites have a specific focus area. So in Durham, their focus is human-machine interface and the user experience. In Hamilton here at the CITM, their focus is on multimodal and integrated mobility. In Ottawa, their focus is V2X. In Toronto, it's AI. In Waterloo, it's high definition mapping. And in Windsor, it's cross-border technologies and cybersecurity. They also have, as I mentioned, both incubation space and lab space. Just a few examples. In Durham, there is an indoor all-weather testing facility with a wind tunnel where you can test your technologies from -50 degrees Celsius to positive 50 degrees Celsius in wind, rain, snow, sleet, and so on. In Ottawa, there is an autonomous vehicle test track where companies can test their vehicles live on a test track which is kitted out with all the latest technology that they may want to access and resource. And in Windsor, there's a virtual reality cave where you can do all of this work virtually. We also support a demonstration zone in Stratford, and this is companies can use the demonstration zone to showcase their technologies to automotive suppliers, manufacturers. It also leverages the city's buses and fleets and to demonstrate the technology in a controlled environment. The demonstration zone is managed by the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association, the APMA, which is a partner to Avin. Builds on Stratford's existing infrastructure, and it connects the technologies, providing Ontario-based companies with access to global markets. And so, pre-COVID, anyway, what companies could do on this platform is strap on their technology onto vehicles that were available, and these vehicles were being showcased globally. And it's kind of a win-win. It was a win for Ontario because the Avin program was getting recognition globally as these vehicles were being showcased around the globe, but also the individual companies that were showcasing and strapping on their technology to the vehicles were also getting that global exposure. So I mentioned we fund at a macro level and at a micro level. At a micro level, we have specific funding mechanisms to support companies. So these programs, they foster partnership and collaboration amongst the companies. We support SMEs to develop, test, and validate innovative technologies, and we connect them with partners to help them commercialize these technologies. The focus is on product, prototype, technology development, validation, and demonstration of actual products and services. And these products and services are to be showcased at events, in the field, or on the road, or at a customer site. Each Avin program supports the development and demonstration of these technologies in areas such as light, heavy-duty vehicles, transportation infrastructure, and intelligent transportation systems, as I mentioned previously. To be successful in applying to our funding, the Avin program will support 1/3 of the project budget, and the applicant, the SME, has to work with an industry partner. In some specific cases, it can be an academic partner, but in general, it's an industry partner. And this industry partner really has to be a demonstration of market pull, because we're not looking to focus on pure research here for research's sake. We're looking to help companies that have really market potential bring these technologies into the market. And so the partner in the application must provide evidence of that market pull. A few definitions. SMEs are less than 500 employees globally. For applicants, you have to have R&D operations in Ontario. The partners that I mentioned, the market pull, they can be, it's much broader. They can be for-profit SMEs, they can be multinational organizations, they can be municipalities, Indigenous communities, not-for-profits, and the partner can be anywhere in the globe. It does not have to be an Ontario company. However, the catch there is the funding that we will cover, the 1/3 of the budget, as I mentioned, has to be spent in Ontario. So only costs that are incurred in Ontario are eligible for the 1/3 reimbursement. Eligible expenses include salaries and benefits, OPEX, CAPEX. Mainly it's research and development, but you can also cover depreciation on some CAPEX items. And as mentioned, you must have at least 2 participants per project. However, you can have more. You can have multiple what we call secondary partners. That would be companies that are providing project integration, doing part of the research and development work are able to come into the project as well. So we have four funding streams. We have a AV R&D partnership stream 1, which is really ideal for companies that have smaller size projects that require co-investment and the support of strategic partners. Our stream 2 is really ideal for companies that are looking for more significant co-investment and the support of strategic partners. Our winter tech development is supporting companies to validate, test, and prototype their projects that are meeting the unique demands of winter conditions. And our talent development program is really supporting students and recent graduates to apply their expertise in the ecosystem and gain real life experience, and to help Ontario companies tap into the globally emerging talent.
Again, I'll just take a pause. If there are any questions, just a reminder that if there are any questions, please feel free to raise your hand, right, or put it in chat during the session.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, please, any questions at any time are welcome. You don't have to hold off till the end. On the Avin R&D Partnership Fund Stream 1, projects have to be at a TRL level of 3 to 7. So what that means is proof of concept to a functional demonstration in an operational environment. And our funding is designed to help pay for activities to get you through levels 3 to 7. In a stream 1, it is not essential that the project end at a 7, but you're advancing your TRL from anywhere from 3 to 7. We will fund activities including the development, the advancement of your TRL level, the product service validation, the testing, as well as the proof of concept. A stream 1 will fund up to $100,000 over a maximum over a maximum of 12 months. The way that works is you would put in a budget. You would include all of your activities that are advancing you from a 3 to a 7 or within that range, and we would cover 1/3 of your costs of that budget. If your costs were $300 or more, you would cap out at $100,000 reimbursement. And that budget, the rest of the budget, must come from an industry partner. So it cannot come from other funding source, other government funding sources. It's got to be industry. The applicant in this program are SMEs, as defined earlier, and in some cases, post-secondary institutions can actually apply for an Avin Stream 1, but they still need the partnership of an industry partner. This particular program has a rolling intake, so you can apply at any time. It's a fairly in-depth application, and it's about a 2-month process from submission to award notification. Our Stream 2 is kind of our flagship offering. It's the big fund. Again, we're funding activities between 3 and 7, but on a Stream 2, we expect that at the end of the project, we will have a technology at TRL 7, which will provide a demonstration, a public demonstration of that technology in Ontario. Again, the budget can include development, demonstration, validation, testing, and proof of concept. This particular program goes up to $1 million over 24 months. So again, if you had a budget of $3 million plus, we could reimburse $1 million of that project budget. If you were less than $1 million, we would cover 1/3 of whatever the total budget was if you were successful. And again, the rest of the budget has to come from industry sources. So 2/3 from industry. It can be from the applicant or from the partner or a combination of both. We don't delineate how much comes from whom. So it's not a situation where $1 million must come from the applicant, and $1 million must come from the partner, and $1 million from Avin. It's just you submit the budget, what's the total cost of the project, and Avin, and if all of those costs are in Ontario, and if they're all not supported by other government sources, they're industry costs, then Avin will cover 1/3 of that total budget, capping out at $1 million. Again, the applicant is the SME. In this program, you can also embed Talent Edge, which I will talk about a little later, and that would be in addition to the $1 million opportunity. On this stream, we have 2 calls per year. So unlike the stream 1, which is a rolling intake, these are timed calls, and it's a competition amongst applicants, and the top projects, as evaluated by external by an external review panel, are awarded funding. The next call on this particular program is on May the 19th. So that's not very far away, it's just a few weeks off. What that is an expression of interest. An expression of interest is a very much scaled back version of a proposal. And so you submit the expressions of interest, and those expressions go to external review, and essentially they're given the go or no go nod. And so those that are invited to full proposal then begin the full proposal work. The full proposals are then submitted for external review, and then companies have to come in and pitch. Now I say come in because pre-COVID, that's how it worked. You came down to our offices in Toronto on Front Street and did an in-person presentation. Obviously, for the past year, we've been doing those presentations over Zoom. So there's a 3-stage process. There's an EOI, then a full proposal, and then a presentation. And pending the outcome of the presentation, the successful applicants are notified. We also have a winter tech development program. This is very similar to our R&D Stream 2 program with some key differences. The winter tech program leverages our unique weather conditions here in Ontario, and we're looking to establish the province as a test bed for mobility products and services in severe winter weather conditions. It is, again, supporting technology related to the validation, testing, demonstration, and prototyping of smart mobility products and services, but it has to be overcoming a severe winter weather challenge. In this program, we're also looking at a higher level TRL. So rather than 3 to 7, we're looking at TRL 5 to 7, which is really about the technologies are a little more advanced. It's about component integration and testing in a simulated environment. With this program, we will support funding up to $500,000, $500,000, over a 24-month project. The match is the same. 2/3 must come from industry, 1/3 from Avin. So again, a $1.5 million budget could reimburse you $500,000 from Avin. Again, also you must have, the applicant is the SME, but you still need to have that partner or that evidence of market pull, that primary partner. This one is handled similar to the Stream 2, where there is an EOI, then there is a full proposal, and then there is a presentation. However, in winter tech, we only do 1 call per year, and the next call is concurrent with the Stream 2. So May the 19th, we're accepting EOIs for both the Stream 2 and the winter tech development program. And if this is something that you think is something you'd like to explore further, feel free to reach out to me after this webinar, and I'll share my contact information at the end. We also have a talent development program. This is a program designed for interns and fellows to work at Ontario companies and receive on-the-job training, if you will, in such areas as hardware, software, AI, and data analytics. To be eligible, it's not applicant, the intern or the fellow have to be a recent bachelor's or master's graduate, or they can be a current student. They can be in their final year of undergrad, or they can be in their final year of college, or they can be a current master's student or a current PhD student. Recent graduates means graduated within 3 years of your bachelor's, college diploma, or master's. Or in the case of PhDs, it can be within the last 5 years that you received your PhD. The funding has to be for R&D, and there are defined milestones required. So it's based on a project. A company can, a Talent Edge application can be either company-based or university-based. So a university can apply to work with a company and then assign its students to work on the development of the technology that the company requires. So the academic partner still require an industry partner. The industry partner still has to have Ontario R&D operations. And if it's an academic candidate, they've got to be enrolled in an Ontario post-secondary institution. If it's a company, if it's a company bringing on the candidate can have received their education anywhere in the globe, as long as they're doing the work in Ontario and assigned to work for the company in Ontario. Our internship program, we have two different programs. We have internships and fellowships. Our internship program is the smaller of the two. Interns can be college or university undergraduates, recent bachelor or master's graduates or graduate students. And the way this program works is any particular intern, we call it intern, that you're bringing on into your company. The maximum term of support is 12 months. We actually do it in 4-month buckets. So you could bring someone on for as little as 4 months, but the maximum per person is 12 months. And for a 12-month internship, Avin will cover $30,000 of their salary. The company has to match our $30,000 dollar for dollar. So the company has to provide another $30,000. Now the way it works is a minimum of $15,000 of the company's 30 must go to the intern's salary. So the minimum salary for the intern is $45,000. The other $15,000 that the company provides can go to providing support to the intern in various types and mechanisms. So it could be providing workspace to the intern, providing extra training, providing oversight, things like that. On the fellowships, it's a bit larger fund. A fellow is obviously a postdoc, and you can bring in a fellow for a minimum of 1 year, so that's the minimum bucket, or a maximum of 2 years. So we can help you fund the fellow's salary over 2 years. Our allotment is $35,000 from Avin, so over 2 years it's $70,000 per fellow. But the company match is $50,000 per year. So over a 2-year fellowship, it would be $100,000. The way that splits up is at least half of the $50,000 per year has to go to the fellow's salary. So in this particular program, the minimum that goes to the fellow is $60,000, with the company providing another $25,000 per year of support services and funding. We're coming up to the end, which is good timing. I want to talk a little bit about some success stories, but I want to start off by showing you a video. So hopefully this works well.
I'm not hearing any audio, Dan.
Thank you, Richard. We tested this earlier. You can verify that. I probably need to re-engage the share control sound. Yep. So let me start that over.
Around the world use cameras to.
And we'll start it again.
I'm here now.
Good day, everybody. My name is Roy Tal, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Visual Defense. We're a Canadian company headquartered in Richmond Hill, Ontario, that helps organizations around the world use cameras to operate more efficiently. Thanks to Ontario's Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network and the Ontario Centers of Excellence, we developed a new and exciting product called Rover. Rover automatically identifies road deficiencies by using artificial intelligence. Rover is well known for automated pothole detection, but this is only the beginning. We see a future where municipal fleets equipped with Rover automatically report deficiencies requiring repairs. This will help governments to operate smarter and better. We've had such a wonderful year with an innovative product which drives new sales. We've also made long-lasting partnerships with some of Canada's leading organizations. In the pursuit of this market, our company manpower nearly doubled, and we continue to grow. We are very fortunate to start our journey with Rover in Ontario. We were amazed with the positive reception and the desire to innovate and collaborate here. We explored this technology with over 40 governmental and private organizations, the majority of which are located here in Ontario. Today, many municipalities are relying on resident complaints or staff equipped with pen and paper to report issues. Some municipalities are also using digital reporting systems that staff carry around, but these are also slow and inefficient. Rover is the next step in the evolution of municipal incident reporting. It does it automatically for the municipalities, allowing their staff to focus on urgent issues requiring immediate repair. If it wasn't for Avin and the Ontario Centers of Excellence, we would not be in this space. The program provided funding which helped us hire new personnel and encourage collaboration with municipal partners. This paved the way for us to take the first step. Today, we're the only company that has this technology ready and mass deployed to automate incident reporting for municipalities. Thank you for listening to our story. I encourage you to reach out to the Ontario Centers of Excellence and learn how Ontario's Avin program can support your organization.
Okay, can you hear me again?
Yep.
Great.
If I can interrupt you, Gregor, 1 second, we actually do have a question.
Great.
Okay, so how can we apply as interns? Is there specific companies and project we select from an intern applicant, or do we get matched to the company's projects based on our skills? How do we apply?
So that's a great question, it's one I'm both excited to hear and saddened to hear at the same time, because the interns do not apply. It is the companies that apply for the funding. And the companies have to have the intern in place upon application. So what an intern can do is connect with us, share their resumes. We can and do share those resumes out. We have companies that come in looking to apply but don't have the interns. And we have interns that come in looking to apply and don't have the companies. And so we can connect you together, but it's more of a manual process. We don't have an automated system to do that. Really, the process is in place for a company to come and apply for the funding. The company has to have the intern in mind already. So some of the things you can do as an intern is make us aware that you're there, send us an email. But also we have a LinkedIn group, an Avin Hub LinkedIn group that you can go on, become a member of, and post the fact that you're an interested party, because then you're going to be gaining access to all the company members of that group that could see your interest. So those are, at the moment, a couple of ways that we handle that. But unfortunately, we're not. The program is not set up so that the intern applies and then gets matched. It's set up for the company to apply with the particular intern already in mind, having done that legwork in advance of applying for our funding.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question. So to wrap up here, I just wanted to talk about a few success stories. I just shared the visual defense story, which was also an example of our SME Spotlight series that I mentioned earlier. few other examples, just give you a kind of a taste, a spattering of examples of what we're doing. There was a company called Xmatic. There is a company called Xmatic that has an aftermarket autonomous vehicle system that they demonstrated with the city of Toronto. The city was interested in looking at their fleets and kind of alleviating some of the challenges with those fleets. We've got a project upcoming with SmartCone in the town of Whitby. This will be an autonomous shuttle servicing the town of Whitby. We've done a project with eCamion, which was a demonstration of battery-based EV charging stations, where there was an autonomous robot developed to autonomously charge autonomous vehicles. So that's just a couple of examples, but really Avin over the last few years has many more examples. These numbers are effective November 30th of last year, so they're even larger than this. But up to November 30th, we'd established 51 commercialization partnerships. We've supported 245 Ontario SMEs. We've helped them secure $101 million in co-investment, which helped generate $88.7 million in follow-on investment. And it has meant over 1,300 jobs created or retained. So that's it for the presentation. That's me. That's my email address and my phone number. And that's our website address down below, avinhub.ca. So if any of the above has spurred on any interest, I encourage you to reach out, whether it's through email or my phone. And I'm happy to take any questions at this point.
Perfect, thanks. And I do have one question. It says, can industry partners be anywhere in Canada or Ontario based only?
It's a very good question. Industry partners can be anywhere in the globe. So they do not have to be an Ontario company. We're not mandating where you find your market. The industry partner is really about providing evidence of market pull. And so wherever that market pull is coming from is fine. The catch, however, is that we are reimbursing 1/3 of a total R&D and demonstration budget. And so the only eligible reimbursement costs have to occur in Ontario. So the R&D costs have to be spent in Ontario. The demonstration has to occur in Ontario. So if your industry partner is outside of Ontario, then any costs that they are incurring or you're incurring working with them outside of Ontario would not be eligible budgetary items. So they would be sufficient to come in to apply to hopefully get awarded funding, but the costs that occur outside Ontario would be over and above the budget that you would submit for reimbursement to us.
Perfect, thank you. I have a bit of a longer question here, Dan. It says, also, from your opinion, when do you see as potential in the field of connected vehicles, cooperative perception, HD maps, smart infrastructure that are needed, receiving high strides by the industrial perspective in those domains?
Sorry, is that question up? Yes, let me just have a read through it. Also,
and Dan, why don't I start, right? Because this is kind of CITM's domain.
Sure.
So the answer is a lot, but in certain areas. So in terms of HD mapping and smart infrastructure, CITM is actually deploying this week our second smart infrastructure or smart mobility infrastructure at an innovation park at McMaster University. Our initial laboratory is in City Street in Hamilton, Ontario. And that's receiving quite a lot of interest for companies that are looking to understand particular data sets that come off smart infrastructure, right, and how they can use that data to, whether it's tuning an algorithm, accelerating their product time to market, right, or just figuring out how to better control a connected and autonomous vehicle of any sort, right, in that. And I'll also add that both at the Avin level and beyond that, there's lots of work going on in standards. Right? We have a client that's working on an ISO standard, right, to govern how municipalities deal with, right, connected and autonomous vehicles, smart infrastructure in the context of their cities. So it's early. The use cases are constrained, meaning that they tend to be in specific areas. So you're more likely to see a connected and autonomous vehicle on a particular truck route or on an industrial application where the roads are a combination of public and private. So from a CITM perspective, that's what we see, and that's actually our domain of expertise. Dan? Yeah,
Sorry, Richard, my Wi-Fi, I missed what you said. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. My internet connection went wonky, so I missed your conversation there. It was all, the tin can effect. I've gone off video to see if that can help. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, my Wi-Fi is being competed for
We're losing you, Dan.
for other people in the family. So hopefully,
You're still.
let me see if I can shift over to. I'm going to try changing networks here. Hopefully
That's a little better.
Now?
Sure. And can I, perhaps there's a follow-on question, right? Yeah. Is there specific research gaps? Dan, can you also see the follow-on question?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, great. Is there a specific research gaps the industry would be more interested in over the other in the aforementioned domain, especially in connected vehicles? I mean, it's very, very broad. The areas that we cover in Avin is a broad swath of different technologies. There are researchers focused on sensor perception technologies, and which is the best technology in that space is very much up for debate. And creating systems that are all encompassing is a current research focus and challenge. We're also focusing on robotics technologies and last mile delivery solutions, and the challenges there include both technical challenges related to winter conditions. That's something that's not been overcome and is currently being focused on and researched. There is also policy-related issues related to these technologies that have to be resolved. So it's quite broad, and there's research happening in all aspects of this technology. Remember that we're not just focusing on autonomous vehicles here. We're focusing on smart mobility, and so that includes infrastructure. And so there's a lot of interesting technologies that are coming out in terms of infrastructure, in terms of road condition monitoring, in terms of traffic congestion management, in terms of traffic flow. And these are things that are really more about municipal infrastructure and what kinds of technologies can be strapped on that infrastructure or replace that infrastructure. The communication technology is another piece that's rapidly changing and moving. And so it's not just about AI and the movement of autonomous vehicles, but it's about the entire it's about the entire technological ecosystem of support that needs to be developed up around that.
Yeah, I would add that from a CITM perspective, we generally see clients working in one of 4 areas, right? And I'll add a 5th area now where we're starting to see some activity. One, they're working in the context of the vehicle somehow, whether it's a sensor, software algorithm, an application. So they're in the context of the vehicle and they're using the data set that comes from the sensor network in the vehicle. Or, as Dan mentioned, they're working on the infrastructure side, where there's sensors deployed, whether they're camera, environmental sensors, radar, LiDAR, audio sensors on the infrastructure side, and those are both in municipal roads as well as private road applications. Right? And by private mode, those mean things like manufacturing or mining, where it's still a road, but it's not necessarily a municipal road. So they're working on that side, or they're working in combination of the two. So they're taking a data set that comes from the infrastructure sensory network and the vehicle sensory network and combining those to better manage the vehicle in the context of a smart mobility environment. Or it's very complicated and they're trying to manage a system of connected and autonomous vehicles in a smart infrastructure environment. And the 5th area where we're starting to see a lot of work now is generally as vehicles move to be connected and autonomous, there's also the opportunity to rethink the powertrain in the vehicle. So we have some companies that are working on both, motor technology, and by vehicle, don't always think car. Some of these are specific purpose vehicle, all the way from sidewalk robots to cargo moving vehicles that you see at airports and distribution centers. And so once you get into the alternative powertrains, then and electric motors, that takes you into battery technology and hydrogen technology. In fact, we have a Mitsui presentation on May 11th at CITM where Mitsui talks about alternative powertrains in all sites in all kinds of vehicles. So from an R&D perspective and a commercialization perspective, we have companies working across a wide array of technology. Any other questions from the audience? One last call for questions.
Nope, I don't see any more, Richard.
All right. So with that, I will bring today's session to a close, almost right on 60 minutes, Daniel. Right, and thank you for your time today. And as Dan mentioned, the Avin grant programs are just about to open in early May. Thus the timing of this webinar. And if you have questions, then we'll circulate the presentation after, right, to all attendees. So you'll have his contact information, or you can go to citm.ca and we can help get you activated in that program as well. Dan, any final words?
No, just another thank you, Richard, for the opportunity here today, and apologies for the Wi-Fi issues. I did warn you on that beforehand as well.
That's right.
That may be a challenge. I'm risking the video here for a second. It looks like we have a bit of a stable connection at the moment, but thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for everyone for tuning in today and listening to the webinar. And please reach out if you have any further questions. Happy to have more thorough, in-depth discussions with anyone.
All right. Thanks very much. And everyone have a great day. Thanks again, Dan.
Thank you.